To factor a polynomial using the GCF, the first thing you have to do is find the GCF. The easiest way to do this is to look at all the factors of the smallest number that you have and list them. So if I'm going to list the factors of 15, I know that I have 1 times 15, 2 doesn't go in, or 3 times 5. Those are the only factors of 15. Now to find the GCF, what I want to do is find the greatest factor that I have listed over here that will also divide into 25 evenly. I know that I can't do 25 divided by 15 evenly, but I know that 25 can be evenly divided by 5. So the number part of this GCF is going to be 5. The next thing I have to do is see if these terms have any variables in common. I see that this term has 1x, and this term has 2 x's, so my GCF will also have 1x. Once you find your GCF, now it's time for you to do the problem. Okay, I'm going to move this down a little bit so you can see what we're going to do. The GCF, when you factor using GCF, it's almost like using our distributive property backwards. We're going to take this GCF and we're going to pull it outside both of these terms. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this GCF and write it outside a set of parentheses. Then I'm going to take this GCF and actually divide it from each of these terms. Okay, that dividing it is what I'm going to do when I pull it outside. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. My x divided by x will cancel out, so there are no variables there. Then I'm going to do the same thing for my 25. I'm going to divide it by my GCF. 25 divided by 5 gives me 5. X squared divided by x will leave me with 1x. And that is the factored form of this polynomial. Now when I say factored form, what I want to do is I want to end up with a multiplication problem, the two factors that will give me this original problem that I had. So if we move this back up here, let me show you how this works. If I were to distribute this, 5x times 3 would give me this 15x from my original problem, and this 5x times 5x would give me this 25x squared. So that's how I can tell I did the problem correctly. Let's try one more. This one has 3 terms. Again, step number 1 is to find your GCF. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my smallest number, and I'm going to list all of its factors. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And then I'm going to look at these other 2 terms and see which is the biggest number here that will divide evenly into both these terms. 12 can divide by 24, but 30 can't be divided by 12, so it's not 12. 24 can be divided by 6. 30 can be divided by 6. So the number part of my GCF is going to be 6. Next we have to look and see if they have any variables in common. This one has an x, this one has an x, this one has an x. So they all have 1x. This one actually has 2, but the other ones only have 1, so my GCF would only have 1x. All of them have at least 1y, so y is also part of my GCF. So my GCF is 6xy. Now it's time to take that GCF and pull it out of this polynomial. So I'm going to take that GCF and list it as the term outside my parentheses, 6xy, and then I'm going to go through and divide each of these terms by 6xy. And whatever is left over goes into my parentheses. 12xy divided by 6xy is 2. 24xy squared divided by 6xy. 24 divided by 6 is 4. My x's would cancel out, and I'd be left with 1y. And then finally, negative 30 x squared y to the 4th divided by 6xy. Negative 30 divided by 6 is negative 5. I have 1 x left over and 3 y's left over.